Hey guys, what's going on? Barn Door here, going over the G Fuel Phoenix Flame watch party. So we're gonna go over the RBG tournament that happened not too long ago. I actually have with me a couple of the competitors, a couple of the team captains that were in here. So I believe, in no particular order, we got the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, I did this. The man, the myth, the legend, the Fearix. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Ferrex here. I play Mage, and I played in RPGs.
and we got the legendary Slip and Slide as well. Do you prefer Slip and Slide, or do you prefer Shane, or what do you prefer, my man?
I don't. It honestly depends on the person. You could go just call me Shane, though. I think honestly, I play Warlock. Played it forever since MoP. Pretty much it.
Awesome, awesome. And then who could forget, Mr. Weed T himself? What's going on, man?
There he is. What's going on, guys? Schweedleton, aka Weed Tyler, here. What's going on? Check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/Weed Tyler. I am a rogue that loves RBG. I love everything about RBG. I love every class. Love everything about RBG. Love WoW. Let's get right into it, Bar.
Nice, nice. So I'm gonna start off before I even start this VOD. I am so happy that this is the third installment of the G Fuel RBG tournament. We've had the G Fuel Hype Sauce. Big shout out because I still have my Hype Sauce tub as well. We have the G Fuel Guardian and we had the G Fuel Phoenix Flame. It's really I feel privileged to be a part of all three of them as well. I know some of you guys have been a part of all three of them as well. And honestly, I feel like the competition gets better every single tournament. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but
No, definitely, and I think it'll keep on getting better. The more tournaments that are hosted, the more eyes that get put on to RBG, the more, more participation comes with that.
yeah, of course.
But me myself, what was that first tournament you said?
The Hype
There was
Sauce.
three. The Hype Sauce. When was that? Was that in Shadowlands?
I think that was Shadowlands season
Yeah,
one.
that was season
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I didn't play in that one, but I did participate in the other two, and I can't wait for the fourth one to come.
Yeah, that was, oh gosh, what month was that, man? I couldn't even tell you a month. I just know it was last year. Is when it was, but
Okay.
yeah, no, that was a good one. That one was fun. That one I wasn't a caster for. I was actually leading the team, so that was good. That was a fun one.
Nice, nice.
Yep. So speaking of fun, I'm sure you guys had as much fun, if not much more fun, playing in the tournament that I did casting it. But before I get into it, right, is there any like real big moments that stuck out to you guys for the tournament?
Oh, Barn, let me tell you. Okay, so there's actually something that happened in one of what I would say was one of the biggest games of the whole entire tournament. Was I don't know if we could pull up the clip, but we were playing Team Camel on a Temple of Kot Mogu, right? And we finally got our strategy down pat, right? We finally get it to the point where we figure out a comp. We're able to wipe them. We're able to put up a good fight in the team fight. And what do you know? We throw. Shane, do you remember what happened in that game?
I do.
I
I do remember that
it
one.
perfect. I actually
Yeah.
wasn't even a part of the game. I sat myself out. But I was watching from the sidelines, and I 100% remember what happened.
That was
And
a
it
hard
was.
throw.
Which day? That was day 2, right?
It was day 2.
It might have been like the first match of day 2. I think we were maybe.
Let me see.
I don't remember
Let me
exactly, but I do remember
Let's check this
a
out.
temple and a holy paladin and an Ellie shaman. That's my other team. Was doing the Fortnite
Well-
dance mid after wiping the team.
Right.
I'm trying.
Well,
I'm
I'll just give you.
trying to click on a
if we
couple of
can't
these
find
VODs here real quick.
No problem if we can't find it. I can give you a quick breakdown. I mean, it's something that everybody should know what not to do on Temple when you finally have the upper hand on a team that you could never get down, right? And we finally get them, and we just throw it in the garbage. So, even if we can't find it, quick rundown. Facing Team Camel, Temple of Kot Mogu, of course, Q-Pop, Team Camel. No surprise. So we go in, we have a strong comp, we have 2 Warlocks, we have an Ellie Shaman, we're switching up the meta. We're going to all casters instead of a heavy melee. So we actually get down the wipe, We wipe their team basically, right? We kill 6 or 7 of them, if I could remember correctly. I could be wrong, but it was almost a full wipe. And our Holy Paladin, well, we have a call. Somebody in calls screams, push their graveyard, which is fine, right? You push their graveyard because they're down, right? You guys
Yeah.
are up. It's 10-5 if you push their G yard. It's fine. But our whole team wasn't on the same page. So unfortunately, we called, go GY, and the only person who actually listened was our Holy Paladin. And our Holy Paladin actually winds up running directly into their G yard. No bubble, no nothing. He just runs straight in, steeded up on his mount, doesn't give a fuck. Excuse my French, doesn't give a care about what's going on. Runs straight in, suicides. Okay?
Who
That
was your
actually
Holy
solid.
Paladin again? Was it? Who was it? Was it? Wasn't
Ralph.
Valve.
AKA Killer K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that guy. You know, he's a great player, great all-around PvE, PvP player, but he likes to troll a lot. You know, he likes to do things that are kind of outlandish sometimes, especially in serious games.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's something that I think should never be done. Like, if you're going to be doing something as a team, do it collectively, especially on Temple. If you get split, you get banana split, it's game over.
Mm-hmm. You guys remember this game right here? This was against I think Bina.
Against Bina's team.
Yeah. So right here, I'm gonna hit play, let it go for a little bit.
Let's see what happens.
I'm gonna mute it real quick. So, right, opener right here, because
Now we got-
I want to
we got a
see
really
exactly
strong
what happens, because you guys just come in and completely annihilate this team in the opener. You really do.
We went hard in the opener. Let's see what happened, because I actually don't remember off the top of my head.
Looks like the priest is in a pretty bad spot in the middle, sort of.
Yeah,
And they had to use a lot of cooldowns there, so that definitely gives us all a big advantage.
Especially on Temple, as you can see on the flower pots here, you got to tell your team to stay on one side of the flower pots. You're gonna stay on the left or right side, or completely back or pushed up into the middle where there is no flower pots.
Well, it looks like they lost already. Their first guy just died without pressing any of their.
Right.
They still have trinket. They still have
Boom,
everything.
There they go.
Yeah.
Like, their healers have cooldowns, they have mana. There's no way that they should be dying the way that they're going down like here.
Mm-hmm.
This is just poor cooldown management from their side, unfortunately. And Temple is kind of dictated by the first team fight.
Yeah.
So,
Now
that's
there are ways to win Temple without winning the team fight, but it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot harder, and you at least have to be able to, finagle it a little bit. You got to get kills somewhere, right?
Definitely. And if you could split 1 or 2 people and then you push while you're up 2 people, or something like that, get something like that going, then whichever team is doing that first is always gonna have the upper hand.
So right here, it looks like what I'm looking at. Yeah, y'all got up by 400 points, and they were able to just come in and get a couple quick orb kills. But how did you guys feel about your team? Right? I mean, I'm looking right here. I see Shane, Maldiva, right? You had Spanx on there, right? You guys had a pretty I think you guys had Omnivore too, right?
Yeah, we do.
Definitely had a stacked squad. We changed up our comp from what we usually do. As you can see, we're running one Affliction, one Destro. We're playing an Ellie Shaman. We're playing light melee, a lot of casters. And we wanted to change it up this time instead of, playing the traditional Ret Warrior, DK, or Windwalker. We wanted to, try to shift things up. Because, especially against Camel's team, it wasn't working out what we were doing, right?
Yeah.
The melee matches just weren't going as, they just weren't working out. So we tried to shift it up into casters, and it actually worked out really well.
I think with more practice. I think realistically our team just didn't have enough practice together as 10 players. Like, we had a lot of strong individual players, as you can see, right? Like Omnivore and like Oz and things like that, but we didn't have a lot of games played together, so that kind of just showed. And I think that's realistically more as why we lost than maybe comp or anything else. I think our comp was actually pretty strong.
Yeah, I like the comp, and especially this map. I mean, RBGs as a whole is all about synergy, right? But
yeah,
I mean, especially this map. Whichever team has more synergy, whichever team has played more together, and has it down pat, will usually win this map.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that, I mean, doing a quick flashback here with Ferrix. I mean, if Felix, if you remember that first the G Fuel Hype Sauce tournament, I actually think that your team, because for those who don't know, like in the Hype Sauce tournament, it was one of the finals for third place came down to my team versus his team, and we ended up taking the dub. But honestly, even looking back now, like I know you had the stronger team, but I think we just had a little luck on our side, yes, but a little bit of more practice.
Synergy is definitely a very big thing.
Because we had practiced a lot, yeah.
That's another thing that I love about RBGs, because about in arena, it's whichever 3 players. Of course, it's about synergy, but it's usually whichever 3 players are best at their classes are going to be the best at arena, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in RBGs, it's all about teamwork, and a lot of things could change just in the moment due to strategy. It's not all about individual skill on the class. Like you could have somebody that's not as good on a warrior, and then you could have Magnus on the other team, but at the end of the day, things can change based on the map.
I gotta pause this. I don't know if you guys know this, what happened in the tournament, but I remember looking at this laughing. Did you know Maldiva in the middle of the tournament session just got up and just walked away?
On our team, right? What the hell where did he go? What happened? Did he say something?
I don't.
It's Spanish.
He just got up, put his headset down. Hold on, we had a quick technical difficulty thing here, and then we had to switch. Yeah, but I think it was like his food had just got. Yeah, it was his food. His food had just got there, and then when he died, he just went and got his food.
Did he at least get back before he rezzed?
Yeah, no, he showed up after he rezzed.
All right. It's all right. What team was this against?
This was against Bina.
We have a heavy lead. We did have a
big
we'll let it
lead.
Slide. And it's Maldiva. It's Money Mike Maldiva. We'll let him slide on this one. But I got my eyes on you, Money Mike.
So what was it like playing with Maldiva as well? Because from what I understand, he's a very big arena player. Well, I mean, it's no secret, right? Right? He's very big into arena. I don't see him in the RBG scene very much. I know Felix. I know you've played some threes with him as well, but I haven't really seen him in the RBGs. I actually was excited to see some like AWC competitors having a little bit of play in the RBG scene. How was it like? I mean, could you even practice with him, or did he just show up for the day of the tournament, or how did that go?
That's the thing. It was kind of like a last minute thing that we actually got Maldiva on our team. Like we had plans that maybe we were gonna have Maldiva play him on some maps, but he actually winded up playing almost every map because the double Warlock was insanely strong at the time. Maldiva's been playing WoW forever, right? So he's definitely had his fair share in RBGs, so he knows what he's doing. But, I mean, of course he's a great player. But I think with maybe just a little more synergy, if we had... Because I remember on some of the FC maps with our defense, with him on defense, if we could have coordinated our ports a little better, or we could have, that comes with games played and teamwork, synergy. So
I wonder if I can bring this to an FC map really quick.
Yeah,
it's right here where
he won't know all all the sort of particulars of an RBG, right? Like, he doesn't know all the rift spots maybe, or he doesn't know, but he knows how to do damage, right? And he knows positioning really well because he plays arena. So that's really what matters more.
Okay,
right.
so
that's a big thing about Affliction Warlock and RBG. It's it's about knowing where to be, and it's about knowing how to fucking crank down. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, what else are you there for? You have to do max damage, and you have to be in the right spot, helping your FC, and playing objectively when it's needed.
Look at that stream right there. That's a nice looking stream.
Nice chat blocker. I like that.
Right?
Man.
Yeah.
So this was one of the shortest games in the entire tourney. I'm having trouble
what was it, like 2 minutes long?
Yeah, I'm trying to start it at the start, but I can't even find it. So
Lord.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the start of it here.
So this is our boy Tachi's point of view here. I saw a glimpse. I saw they were down 2-0 on a flag map. It's looking great. Okay, and there it goes.
So on it, I actually, I don't know what happened with the VOD. I can't even see the whole I think there was technical difficulties or something, because I can't even bring up anything other than Felix's POV. But real quick, I mean, we saw Tachi's POV. They came in here. They basically just AFK'd at slash AFK'd 2-3 in. Do you think that, I mean, we talk about this a lot, like the morale of the team. I hate in tournaments, I hate seeing teams like AFK before like the game is over, because I mean it just feels like me like they're defeated. They don't think they can win and they're frustrated. Like, I understand there are games, yeah, just go next, right? Especially in things like Arathi Basin, especially in the Gilneas, sometimes it's like, yeah, whatever, just go next. But in like a Warsong Gulch with 10 minutes left, having your team quit on you, I mean, you can still come back in 10 minutes. I'm not saying, you know.
I'm saying, like, Flag Map is one of those maps that you actually have the best chance to come back on, even if you're down 2-0, even if things are looking insanely grim. Mm-hmm. Things can turn around at the drop of a hat. Like, the FC can get one shot at any point in time. If you just send a heavy O and you can get your FC kiting, you could buy enough time. You just got to go. Your FC has to be ready for that, ready for the pressure that's coming, but just be able to kite around it, buy your team enough time, and then, you know, like a flag map is all about momentum, right?
Yeah.
So if you're up 2-0, you get a cap. It's like, all right, let's go. We could get another cap. It's easy now, right? Like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I understand how it feels to go in and be like, oh my god, this game is like so doomed. Like, after something small happens.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I've been in games where it looks so bad, where we're 4 or 5 capped, and we actually complete reverse swap, counter 4 cap, 5 cap in return. So I think that, you know, morale is like a huge thing, and it shouldn't be determined just off, you know, a cap or the other team getting 3 or 4 bases or something like that. You could always turn things around.
Oh, I
and
mean,
like I said,
yeah.
I love RBGs, because in Arena, you know, your teammate dies, it's like, all right, go next, our guy's dead. But in RBG, things go south, and it's like, hold on, we could do this, we could do X, Y, Z, and we could actually win this game in 2 minutes easily.
Well, wasn't there a game? I'm remembering an Eye of the Storm where things were looking, you know, like you got, like your team was gonna lose. This might be the Method tournament I'm thinking of, but I remember there was a game, your team versus Camel's team, and it looked like at the start you guys were on the back end. The Camel's team was winning, and then you guys turned around and just 4-capped them out of nowhere, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that was the Method tournament, and that's what I'm saying. Like, anything can change. Just because the mid-team fight doesn't look so good, you got to think of the mid-team fight as an arena, right? So if you lose the arena, it's all right, because there's still objectives to play around. So even though our team loses mid, it's like, it doesn't matter, but we still have 2 nodes to go capture. Like, to me, ninjing is insanely easy just because I've done it so much. So, like, I could kind of read what the enemy players are going to be doing, and I could kind of play around that, and it kind of gives us the upper edge on the objectives, because not other rogues play the same way, and they're kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to stay defensive, but I'm always thinking I'm going to stay offensive just in case things go south in the team fight.
Yeah.
So, like, when I'm playing an RPG, I don't care about the middle. Like, I already have my plan A is winning a node. My plan B is winning the team fight.
Yeah.
Because we've put together so many teams and tried so many comps, and the team fight just does not work out sometimes, you know? So you just have to resort to...
You got to have a way to win the game if the team fight doesn't win you the game. Like, you still have to stay in it.
Exactly. So that's why you can't let your team, you know, fall on the back end and be all, oh, shit, we lost, like, it's over, before it even started. Because it's all about nodes and objective play.
See, I mean, one thing is like Fearix, what do you think about this? Because I know traditionally when we talk to a lot of people, like Weetie, you're I'd like to classify you, and correct me if I'm wrong here, a RBG player who sometimes plays Arena, right?
Right.
Fearix
exactly.
is in my opinion, an Arena player who sometimes RBGs.
That's what I would think too.
Yep. So how do you look at it when you're taking a look at the team fight versus the node game versus that sort of stuff?
You know, for me personally, like, when I'm playing Mage, like, Mage doesn't have a very big impact on the team fight. I know, you know, you guys know, like, if I'm playing Frost Mage and I'm pressing damage, I can maybe do pretty okay damage, but it's very easy for a good team like a Melee Cleave to train me down and I'm not really able to do anything. So, you know, for me personally, like, my job as like a mage is like getting crowd control, playing for you know, the objective, playing for, if I'm playing Frost, like for example in like Eye of the Storm here, you can, you know, isolate people by putting up an ice wall, and maybe the 2 melee are pushed up and you can ice wall him from his 3 healers, or, you know, kind of thinking of like things like creative that I can make my spec work with, because it's like not the most meta in the current state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good part about a mage. There's a lot. You have a big toolkit. Like if you know, things come down to the wire, you can invis and go ninja a node with your rogue or your druid, or you can make a play happen. And in the team fight, you can make things happen as well. It's not like you're just straight dedicated to fighting and doing damage and worrying about killing.
Right. Mm. Yeah, exactly.
But well, we could even flip that question to Slip-N-Slide, because he plays a warlock, but he I mean, he's a great multi-classer. He plays a druid, he plays a rogue, etc. So he knows the objective play, but as a warlock, you know, his main job is to be in the team fight and focus on damage.
Yeah.
So what would you think, like, Shane?
What
do you think about that?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask Shane is that out of all of, you know, the 3 of you guys, I know Weed T, I know, right, Fearix, I actually haven't had as many interactions with you, Shane. I know you're rank 1, right? I know you're incredible at what you do. I just don't, did you start off by doing Arena? Did you start off by doing RBG? I mean, like, how do you look at it?
I guess technically I started off doing both, right? Because I played since Kata and Wrath and stuff like that. So I started off, I guess, in Arena, and then I met the people that I played Arena with, like, to play RBGs after you played Arena, right? You would get all your friends after you played Arena, and you just go RBG, and then you just kind of meet more people that way. But I think in general, like, in a tournament, you should never give up, right? Like, giving up, especially on a flag map with 10 minutes in a tournament, just, like, that's just the wrong mindset to have, I think, in any kind of competitive aspect, right? You just shouldn't give up. I think that's just a bad idea. And, like, as for a team fight, like, I'll always try to win the team fight, but I feel like you always need a plan B no matter what, right? Like, you should always be trying to play for nodes and play for objectives as well as the team fight, right? It's like the whole map. You have to win. You could win anywhere on the map at, like, all times kind of thing. That's why ghosting, I think, and stuff like that's important, and, like, all your team having awareness and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I think Shane and I work so well together, because I could count on him to worry about the team fight, right? And if he knows that the team fight is going south, he knows that he needs to cover our nodes so we could go make a play, right? And that goes without saying type thing. And that's something that comes with, of course, synergy and playing together for a while and playing countless games together. But he's a great team fighter, and he's also aware of what's going on around the rest of the map. You know, and that's like a big, crucial part about being a good RBGer, is not only doing great damage and carrying a team fight and, you know, cross-CCing and etc., but you have to know what's going on, because a lot of melee, I'll take a look here, let me look in this game. Let me see. There's about, no, and this is respectfully, like, I'm just being honest, right? There is probably, out of the melee I'm looking at, I would say about 2 of those melee know what's going on outside of the team fight. And they're so focused on the team fight, and that's not a good way to go into an RBG, especially, you know, tournament-wise. Because, like, here we go, and there he is. This is a great one to tune to. Like, he's a great player, amazing DH, the best DH probably to play, right? And I'll give that to him. And he is going to make a play here, but, like, he didn't do this without, you know, being told that, oh, yo, run to this base, like.
Well, you know I also don't know why he didn't try to side out the rogue first, or at least sight and then meta him first. I don't know why he just blind meta just to get sapped.
And that's what goes back to him being like an arena player, not so much RBG, because I'm sure somebody in the call said, yo, MT's open, MT is ghosted, run to it, and then MPQ says, all right, I could go. Back flips out, night phase, like, he's just assuming that it's ghosted, right? And that's what I'm saying, like, that's what comes with playing a lot of RBGs, like, if that was Rev in that position, Rev would have already known if the base was open. He wouldn't have needed to have been told. He would have already been there, type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I do notice when I take a look at, you know, like, because everybody loves to have those arena players versus RBG player monologue. And honestly, like, when you are looking at an RBG tournament, what I do tend to see is that you can tell the RBG intelligence, the situational awareness, right? Like I think WeT's one of the best when it comes to that. Is whenever I you know, I'm casting and I'm watching you play, you know what's going on in the map, right? You know, because I can see, right, and you're either moving this way or you're moving that way, you're doing something, but you're always looking around. Like you're always where you need to be. As where I will say, you know, there's some other arena players out there, or not even arena, sorry, RBG players out there who are great at what they do. You put them in their lane, they are the best, right? You put, like for example, like Burn right here, Burn X. I know I played against him a bunch of times, and he is. You put him Warlock for Warlock, he's one of the best for sure. In damage, he's one of the best in the team fights, but is he gonna know when to peel out? Is he gonna know when the team fight is lost, or when he needs to just commit to the team fight, or when he you know, it's just different questions, right? It's like the difference between Burn and Kapala, right? And I've had interactions with both, and I think Burn is probably put him in a 2v2, 3v3 situation, he's going to win, right? You put
no doubt.
But you put him in an RBG, I think Kapala has great RBG intelligence, right? And so that's...
He has high awareness. He knows what's going on outside of just doing damage and, like, CSing that guy and, you know, double CSing and all about that. And that's great. And that actually bounces me back to Maldiva, right? Like... what you were saying about Burnex is how I feel about Maldiva. He's amazing in 2v2, amazing in 3v3 arenas, but he doesn't exactly know everything that's going on, and you can't without playing constant RBGs, right? You're not gonna just you're not gonna go out of your way to look around the map when you think your job is to just go into the team fight and win.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it is, you know, at the end of the day, for someone like that. But you know, other people that invest a lot of time into RBG, they focus more on that. Like, while I'm sitting there in stealth, I'm keeping track on where all of the people are, right? And then I instantly call out to my team so they don't have to worry about it, because that's my job. Is I'm sitting the node, I'm not doing anything else, right? So I might as well keep an eye, keep track for my team so they don't really have to do it. It's a teamwork thing, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of base sitters love to be space cadets out there, so one of the things...
sit there and win or lose, like, it doesn't matter. They're just sitting their node, like...
One of the things I always, I'm sure you do it, sorry, one of the things I always tell to my viewers, which I'm sure you guys do as well, is like, if you're sitting in the node, you're scrolling through people. You're seeing where everybody is. You're looking at, what does the enemy team need to do to win? Even if I'm winning, what do they need to do to win? What is their win condition? And I'm going to try to stop that, right? So... I mean, yeah.
It's not even just about... It is definitely about that, but it's not just about knowing. It's about keeping, like, a mental note on where people are, right? So if you see, like, just take EOTS, for example, right? Say I cap Mage Tower, my Druid caps DR, right? So they come and double ghost over to my node. So both their nodes are open. Our Druid can shoot to their node, get their node. Even if I lose mine, it's fine. We still have a 2-2, right? So now I have a mental note in my head that, okay, one of them is defending that node, one of them is going to go back to their side of the map until the others either shift over or, you know, something like that. You have to, like, even though they're in stealth, you could kind of keep track of where people are, if you could understand what I'm saying. Like, even though they're stealth, you could kind of, like, you could just think, like, okay, if I was playing that stealth class, I would go stealth and either go into middle or go reinforce my other node or wherever the node needs help. So then you could take advantage from that. So I kind of like to think one step ahead always when playing a rogue or a druid, you know.
So real quick, I want to go back here for a clip, and as we're looking at this game, this is one thing I do want some of your guys' opinions on here. Is I wonder if I can find the exact spot. I might not be able to, but...
Hey, I have a question for you, Barn. Barn, I got a question
for you. Go ahead.
What is your opinion, honest opinion, on Blood DKs in an RBG setting?
See, you're 2 seconds ahead of me. That was what I was about to ask. Like, because we got the Blood DK on screen here, right? So I wanted to see, like, okay, so I'll go first, but my opinion is it's a little mixed because I played against it. I haven't really played with it, but I understand why. So I understand the concept of do whatever it takes to win. If you can't win one way, you win another. If you can't win the team fight, you win the node game. If you can't win straight up with a melee brawl, you bring casters. If you can't win doing X, Y, or Z, finding a way to win, and I respect that. I really do, right? And Ocean Man is great at helping his team find a way to win, but on the flip side, it's very, I don't know, very unfun gameplay, which is not really a great way to measure a tournament. But as far as like on ladder, yeah, it's really annoying to queue into, of course. But I think that it's not a player problem. I think it's not a tournament problem. I think it's a Blizzard problem. I think Blizzard should at least have some idea of what's going on with Blood DK in their RBGs in the game like this. And obviously this is not intended to work like it is. I'm sure it is in certain ways, but I don't think Blood DKs are meant to break a game in Eye of the Storm like they do and have infinite grips and haymakers and stuff like that. So I think it's not on teams to stop playing with Blood DKs and just excommunicate all Blood DKs. I think it's on the team, the game, to really, okay, like let's fix this, right? Like let's balance this. But I don't knock anybody who plays with the Blood DK because they're just trying to find a way to win. But that's my opinion. I don't necessarily think it's bad, but I also I'm not going to go out of my way to play with a Blood DK whatsoever.
And I hate to be this guy, but I mean, sure, I kind of see like an issue with it. Like, all right, don't get me wrong, it's definitely an issue when there's an excessive amount of Blood DKs and Guardians on one team. Like, nobody can disagree that is the most unfun gameplay that anybody could ever enter into. Is seeing on the BG, you see 3 Blood DKs, 3 Guardians, 2 healers, a rogue, and X, whatever it could be.
Yeah.
Blood DK. That is just absurd. That's ridiculous. But in a setting like this, when you have one. See, the thing I always say is, and Shane can back me on this, like, even when we're facing a Blood DK, the main big thing about facing a Blood DK is how much comms get cluttered from the Blood DK. Like, we understand that you're getting kidnapped from the Blood DK, okay? And I swear it's so easy to get a Blood DK off. Like, if you take one Boomkin, right? If you trade out one Boomkin, or any druid, any sort, you trade out one Boomkin for that Blood DK, your healer should be able to get away, right? At least get back into the fight and get something going. Either, whether it be Rapture Shields, a Dome, anything, right? Because for the most part, priests get taken. As we see right here, we see Lit getting dragged away. So, I think it's definitely an issue when there's an excessive amount of it, but it's not unout playable, right? It's very easy to go clone the guy and then clone his trinket, clone him again, root him, and then clone when he's off DR when he has no trinket. It's just, I feel like people don't use their head, right? Look at him, he's running around. Now let's see what happens. Now, I want to see if anybody helps Lit.
It doesn't happen.
See, like, that is the
times.
You know, like, Ferrex, this is your team, right?
Yes, yep. I know how it was,
you know what I'm
and I
know
was
exactly
in the
what
comms.
I'm saying,
I
right?
was in the comms too, and obviously I'm not playing in the game. I'm not going to be like backseat gaming, but
right.
They're sitting there, and Lit was going like, "Don't worry about me. You can't save me." And if you watch later in the VOD here, this DK actually takes her completely out of the map toward the graveyard in the corner.
That's somewhere in the tree, right? I believe, or something.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I play a druid, and I know that I could stop a Blood DK. But I feel like even here, they should be okay. They're playing a Mistweaver and our druid. I mean, the other team doesn't have like substantial dam, because you also have to think they're sacrificing one dam. Like, they're sacrificing either like a regular DK, another Warlock, a Mage, or another Boomkin. So they're already down a DPS by having the Blood DK. So I feel like with 2 other strong healers, even though it's a Resto Druid and a Monk, maybe if it was like a Priest Monk, that would be fine to 2 heal. So I kind of go back on my word that, like, you could sacrifice one to help, but at the end of the day, I don't really think it's necessary.
Well,
the damage is definitely 2 healable.
Well, the thing is like, Team Camel figured out a way to deal with it. They don't complain about let me rephrase that. They complain about it enough, but they figured out a way to beat it 100% of the time. All they do is what they do is they actually take Rev when Rev's on the DK. They have Rev on the DK and Rev peels out to help. So as like the DK's going to grip, Rev will grip him back the wrong way, right?
And trading out a DK for a DK, and at the end of the day, you're having a healer in that spot, so you'll never die because they don't have that DPS. And I mean, that's definitely a solid way to go about it for sure. I didn't think of that DK on DK action.
I think it depends on the map how you should deal with it. Like on this map, I think a Moonkin should pick an orb and then just go help the priest, right? Because then you like build stacks and then like I think it depends on the map. Though. Like on Warsong or something, your Warlock I think should help. It just depends. It's like map based.
Yeah,
and it's like you can play around it. It's not.
If you grab
it's not like that OP, right? There's always been OP things in RBGs, but I don't think like Blood DK like completely breaks the game. I'd say like probably like playing 5 tanks, like, but playing any 5 tanks is gonna break the game, right? If you played 5 Guardians, nobody's gonna have fun.
That's just ridiculous. Like that's
just not fun. Yeah.
If you want to waste all your time like sitting there trying to time out a game, like you deserve to win. Like you could have it, seriously, at the end of the day. But you want to know the worst part? I want to touch base on that. The worst part about it is that team plays 2 or 3 Blood DKs, 3 Guardians, etc., but they still lose the team fight with all the tanks. So they're still spam dead when they have a team full of tanks. So I don't really see it, it doesn't really make much sense at the end of the day, because they're not they're dying, and they should never be, like, the whole point of playing that many tanks is to never die, to stall it out, right?
Yeah, of course.
They're dead. So that's, like, the strat's horrible, in my opinion. The comp is horrible on a lot of the maps.
Yeah, I think
sure, it can control on some maps, like a Deep Wind Gorge, you could just throw people everywhere, and the team can never cap middle, and it could be a 40-minute game, whatever. But, like, what fun is that for any of the 20 parties involved?
Yeah. I mean, it's like going back, if you remember Arena way back, in the old AWC, it was, okay, a game ends at 20 minutes, and if no one's dead, then it's just whoever did that much, the most amount of damage. It's like, so then people would bring double Blood DK, and it's just, when you draw the game out like that, and your whole goal is to be annoying and take as long as you can, like, it's just not competitive, not, like, fun gameplay, but...
It kind of kills it for anybody involved, because say, like, take it like this, ready? Put it into perspective like this, right? So say that team is queuing at, because disrespectfully, it doesn't really matter. They're not good players, right? So you put them all together, and they don't win that many games, but they're doing all right. And say they're at 1900, 2K MMR, and then, like, say, just for instance, a guild group queues up, and they're 2K MMR because they're a guild and they won a few games in a row. And they're just trying to have fun. They're trying to learn RBGs. They're trying to get into it, right? They're trying to up the participation percentage, and you queue into something like that. A team like that would have no idea what to do to counter it, and they would probably they would flop. They would fold like a wet napkin. So how is that?
Yep.
It discourages new players, when they queue into that, because it's not fun. Like, sure, at first it'd be like, oh, that's funny, they're playing like 10 tanks, but it's like, holy shit, we can't do anything. Like, we can't even win. Like, we're sitting here not even trying to win. They're trying not to lose.
And I know all of you guys have done viewer RBGs before, and you know that I'm very big into the viewer RBGs, and I'm more about, trying to help people out and just have fun. One of the things that I run into all the time is, very, very commonly, I will take a group of, whether it's undergeared or underskilled or just viewers, random players that I'm trying to help them out, coach them up a little bit, have a good time, do my thing, and, we'll win, 1 or 2 in a row, and then all of a sudden we get matched, whether it's up against a team like this, whether it's, we queue into, your guys' main team, or we queue into Camel. It's very disheartening when you're taking either a guild group or a viewer group or a group that's just trying to queue and have fun and just, play the game semi-casually, right, and to learn, and then you queue into tournament type of players, right? It's not it's not something that like breeds, hey, I want to get better, I want to play this.
I'm happy you actually swung over to this topic because this kind of brings us to like the MMR type thing about RBGs, WoW in general. I think it's a huge issue, and the main issue is, especially this season and specifically, is there hasn't been any inflation implemented into RBGs. So it kind of, it's that mixed with, there's low participation. There's not that many people playing RBGs like there used to be. Sure, there's a good amount of teams, but it definitely has gone down substantially since the better expansions like Mists of Pandaria or WoD But I think a big issue is what I said was no inflation being implemented. And because these teams that are playing at 23, 2400 MMR, like, are actually way higher rated than that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's because, and they're only not high rated because it's not actually possible to get that high in rating because of the MMR. So like, these two teams right here, take for instance, in a perfect world, right? All these teams play a lot, right? Well, they used to, whatever the case may be. They're very good players. All 20 of these people are very good. They should at least be at 2700, 2800 MMR type teams, right? So that should leave, the viewer teams and the guild groups and the team trying to learn, that should leave them at where they are now, at about 1900, 2K, and pushing to 2100, because 2400 is where you really start pushing, right? I feel like if you hit 2100, that's a pretty good milestone. But the real competition starts coming in at 2400. That's how it is in Arena, because you start to get to Gladiator range. And
yeah, I mean,
feel like the MMR is just it's garbage right now.
I mean, exactly,
that's ruining it.
And I mean, Shane, like, what do you think about this? Because you see, obviously, the teams that are, you've competed in a number of RBG tournaments. So, I mean, like, you see that the RBG tournament teams, comparison on the ladder where they are versus, the people who are in the AWC, right, where they are on the ladder, it's a complete disparity.
Right, I think it's just like over time, right, there's not that many incentives for RBG. A lot of people get here once and they'll stop playing because it's like a one-time forever title sort of thing. So it's not like Gladiator where you have to like maintain it every season sort of thing if you want the mounts and things like that. So like people don't really have like a reason to play RBG outside that. So the participation just sort of goes down without any input into RBG. It sort of like dies off a little bit unless you have like the diehard people that play, and then it sort of that discourages people from trying, because if you have the people that play RBG all the time, playing at like 1900, anybody that tries RBG just gets stomped, right? And that's really not fun for anybody either, right? It's like not. It doesn't like promote like good gameplay.
Yeah, because the teams that play now, like the teams that play at high-rated MMR now, they just love RBGing, right? They're not playing to hero here. Like, it's not about that. Like the teams that are 23, 2400 MMR now are playing because they love RBGs. They love 10v10 as a bracket, as a whole. But what I think discourages new people coming in, like high-rated Arena players, they don't want to play RBGs because why would they do that when they could grind 3v3 and get a rank 1 title, right?
Yeah.
They're getting something for all their time and effort that they put in, and well-deserved, right? So I think we've been saying this for years, Shane and I. I'm sure Ferrex has been saying it. Anybody that is RBG'd at a high, anyone has been saying there needs to be a rank 1 title implemented into RBGs, and that would up the participation by a ton, because that would make all the top Arena players want to come play, because then they could compete for another rank 1 title, right? It's like not competitive enough. There's nothing. You don't get anything.
Yeah.
The same thing you've been getting for the past 15 years.
Well, I mean, Ferrex, right, you have a unique perspective because you have multiple rank 1 titles. You've played in RBG tournaments, and, right, you've played in some of the AWC leagues as well. So what is your take on, a rank 1 title for RBGs?
I completely agree with Mr. Wheat. Like, honestly, I got my first hero title playing RBGs in Season 1. It was super inflated. I got my hero, and I literally just play them for fun now. There's no incentive for me to go out and like push really, really high rating because there's no title. There's nothing. Like, I can get another hero and it'll go. It shows up in like your feat of strength, like hero of the horde, and then cosmic. That's the season we're in. But you don't get like
special.
You don't get cosmic hero Ferret.
Exactly.
Why not? Why don't you get that? There's no reason you should not be able to get a title like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. And the RBGers that have been playing for a long time have been saying this for seasons and years, and we'll keep on saying it because it's clear that Blizzard listens in some sense, right? Because it actually was like it kind of hit. It hit hard when Blizzard put in a rank 1 title into Keys, the Tormented Hero.
Yeah.
Before they put anything into RBGs. When did Keys come out? Can somebody remind me when Keys came out?
Oh, they had Warlords of Draenor challenge modes, and then after that, it was Legion. Legion was the first Keys, I think.
Right. So I mean, that's straight up. That's foul. Like, Keys have been in the game for a good amount of time now, right? But like RBGs have been in it for almost double the time, right? And there still has been not even like, all right, maybe we'll implement something into RBGs. It's just been crickets. Like, when somebody tries to touch on it,
that's all they did.
Yeah, they take things out and they ruin good things. Like, I want to touch base. I hate to go all over the place, but a good thing to note on is the old Deepwind Gorge being taken out from the new awful Deepwind Gorge.
Don't get me started. I hate.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger Arathi Basin now. You didn't make a new map. You just remade another map worse. Like at least old Deepwind Gorge, you had different ways. I loved it. You had different ways to win. You could either cap carts, you could focus on that, you could reallocate your players. Some of them are helping the cap cart, some of them are helping the bases. You could choose, do we push 2 bases? Do we only hold 1 base? There were so many options, and that's what I loved. Just like Silver Shard Mines, right? Silver Shard Mines, you can choose, do we go for the team fight? Do we go with the off cards? Do we swap them up? Do we swap this up? Do we swap that up? Do we go to team fight them in front of their graveyard? Do we go to team fight them at the end, right? There's so many things you can do, and the old Deepwind, they could do that. And even the map that they took out, like, yes, people did like Seething Shore. I was one of the ones that say, Seething Shore, I didn't like it. Why didn't I like it? Because it was buggy. It was glitchy. Yep. I was losing nodes to being ninja'd from somebody who was standing on a ship that I couldn't even, contact.
I'm not the only one. I'm happy I'm not the only one that was
a
huge issue for.
So
that was the main issue that I didn't like Seething Shore either.
So when they took it out, they said, hey, we're having some issues with this map. There's some bugs that are happening. We're going to take it out of the rotation right now and work on it. We're an expansion later. How long does it take to work on it, right? Are you just, like, it's still a random BG. Did you just take it out because you're never going to, like, implement it again? Or
yeah, and that like, bounces it back to them not even batting an eye towards RBGs, which is sad, right? Because if they did, it would actually bring new people in, and it would help the game as a whole. It would keep subscriptions high. It would keep more people coming in because there's tons of viewer groups. There's tons of low, high groups all over the place that love bringing in new people. So it's not like, oh shit, I want to play RPGs, but I can't get into a group. There's countless groups if you log on at the right time, right? So it's not even about that. It's just the fact that they don't care enough. It's sad because it could be so much better than it is.
Yeah,
they put a little more effort.
I think that's the cry of all RBGers for the last 3-4 expansions. Like this is the brink of something that could be great, and we love it. Please just put an iota of care into it, and this will prosper. But the issue is they don't. They don't care. They don't put any time towards it. So, but flipping sides on that real quick, we do see that the community, of course, cares about it. We have the G Fuel tournaments, right? Big shout out to G Fuel as well, who have who have run 3 tournaments so far and are potentially talking about running another one at some point, right? And then we have Method, who are doing their, Method Mayhem tournaments as well. I know Easy TV3 ran a tournament as well, and I know I've been trying to push for the Posse Vibers to have an RBG tournament as well. So it's like the community cares about this. It's just the amount of there's so many issues when it comes to getting Blizzard to actually be on board. Like, as you can see here, the spectator UI, there's a couple issues. I mean, any of you guys who did watch it, everybody's making fun of the cameraman. I promise you, this cameraman was doing his absolute best. They don't have a very workable RBG UI that doesn't have bugs. Like, the cameraman would keep getting stuck. The cameraman couldn't go back and forth between where he needed to. Of course, we did our best to have the best production quality that we could, but really, they haven't put any time. Like, even just spectating a normal war game is a lot easier than doing a random RBG.
Yeah, and I think what needs to happen is for an actual change to be, implemented finally after all these years is. We need somebody like we need a big massive name to just put some input. Like, a great example would be Asmongold. Like, in season 1, I actually won the World Series of RBGs against Camel with Asmongold, and he personally took a screenshot of it. There's a VOD and everything of it. So he loves RBGs. I see him log on randomly even on his second Twitch account and play RBGs for fun. So he loves them, and I think he knows that there's an issue, but, someone like him, he has a million and trillion things going on, so
yeah.
He's not going to be like, oh, we need to fix RBGs and make, like, a YouTube video about it, etc., but I think that'll be, like, the only way to actually have something changed.
Yeah,
right? Because people have been crying out and doing all these things on forums and even old Arena Junkies and all these forums, everything for RBGs to be better and just make them a little better, just put something in to just keep us going, and there's just been nothing.
So Asmongold, if you're watching, the RBG community needs your help.
We need you. The Schweden team needs you. Please, Asmongold, please.
I remember getting blamed in season 1, getting blamed for the hunt nerf. Like, Actual would have demon hunters that would come to my stream and yell at me because
why is that?
Because live on Asmongold's main stream, he was playing an RBG, and it was like the start of the season, and he queued up against one of my viewer teams. We won, but my hunt crit and I one shot, like, out of nowhere from behind the tree, hunt one shot crit on stream, and then all of a sudden I just had like 50 people come in and like, you're gonna get the hunt nerfed, like, this is your fault.
Because thousands of people are watching him, and it's like, oh shit, no, that needs to get nope, that needs to get nerfed, because it's all about, like, even if it did really get changed because of that, or it didn't, like, say either way, right? Just having that much focus on something and having that many people say something and all at once bringing it to Blizzard's eyes, they do listen. Because I feel like they really do listen, because recently I've been looking at the patch notes, and they've started putting the developers' notes. So they're listening to the feedback that people are putting in. Like, Holy Priest is getting nerfed. What else? Mistweaver is getting buffed.
Yep.
Fury Warrior is getting nerfed.
Saw that.
So, like, they do listen and they do change things, but there's just not enough focus on RBGs.
Yeah.
It's just lacking a little bit of oomph. It just needs like a little more.
Yeah.
And it could get some changes, like some good changes. That would make everybody want to play.
No, I agree, and I think that old Blizzard in the past has been very bad about implementing changes the community wants, but I think that within the second half of Shadowlands here, not the first, but of course, like the second half, the latter half, we've seen some starts of a Blizzard that is starting to listen to their community, And I think everybody's a little nervous because good things are happening, but they're happening slow, and we want them, like, it's like, okay, like, Blizzard, don't tease me with, like, seeing like you actually care. You know what I mean? It's like,
least, at least we're getting like a swing in the right direction. Like,
yeah.
At least like they are listening. Like, people were complaining about RMP and how Holy Priest were the only healers playable and in threes. Okay, so there you go. They actually did listen. They changed Holy Priest a little bit. They fixed it, just a tad, because they don't want to like over tweak it to the point where it's not playable, but they change it so it's viable for other healers to play as well. So I think they do listen, but it's just a matter of time. And like you said, it's definitely been getting better. With sorry, my cat, man, get out of here. Sorry.
All good.
I think it's getting better with because didn't somebody buy out Blizzard, or there's a new CEO?
Microsoft. It hasn't taken effect yet. Not a lot of people know that, but it hasn't actually even taken effect yet. But Microsoft has, implemented the transaction of buying Activision Blizzard. But that's a story for another day for sure.
Oh, absolutely. But maybe something to do with that as something to do with things going in the right direction for PvP as a whole, finally, because I'm seeing changes that usually wouldn't be changed, right? There's been things in the past expansions where they've been broken all expansion, and they never cared to fix it, but they're finally doing something, and it's looking good. So I think with the more tournaments that come, the more participation, the more people see it, RBGs and as a whole, and I think it'll definitely help the community out and get some changes.
So what you're saying is G Fuel. We need more tournaments.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm begging. What are we waiting for? We're supposed to have one next month, right? There's a tournament next month. That's what I don't know what I heard, but that's
I don't have anything confirmed yet, so don't look at me.
All right.
But real quick, I do want to switch gears, and Shane, I want to start with you and your opinion here. So I want to switch gears, and I want to talk about something RBGers, especially who've been involved in the tournament scene, have known and been having issue with for the past, a little bit. Camel's team wins every single tournament. So, is that an issue? Is there a way to beat them? Does something need to change? What is your opinion on it, Shane?
Well, I mean, I guess to be fair, I played with ABN and stuff before that, and I'd say before Camel sort of dominated the RBG ladder, right, I'd say ABN's team definitely dominated for years, right, but that was, I guess there was more competition back then, but we sort of dominated in the same way that Camel does. There just was a lot more people back then, right, so you had more participation, so it had less of an impact as a whole, but now that you have not a lot of teams that play, it makes it a lot harder, and then to get the people that you sort of need on the level to beat Camel's team, right? They've been playing together since, like, most of them known each other since WoD, right? Or, like, early Legion around then. I remember playing with Camel, like, the end of WoD and then season, 2 of Legion. I think his team they've all been playing together since then, right? So you sort of need people with that sort of synergy together that have been playing together for that long and know everything about RBGs in their class, right? They respectively pretty much have the best people on role for role, right? They have Magnus on Warrior and Imid on Rev, who played together for a long time. You have Rev, right? Camel, Pillow, Nesper, all those players who collectively are just really good.
Don't forget about Ray.
Yeah.
Everybody loves my dog XO, but
now I wanted to shift just for half a second here. Now, that is probably the most critical part of their team, right? Is Ray, because Druids and Rogues play the most important role of an RBG, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a solid Druid / a Druid as in a Boomkin that could play Boomkin perfectly and also FC perfectly as well, that gives the team a very, very higher edge over any team, right? Because sure, there's a lot of FCs that play, but Ray's been playing a long time and he's been playing a lot, so he just understands everything about FCing, and a lot of the FCs that play now don't exactly know the small things about that. So I think their team, they're of course, it's the best team. They're great all around. Like Shane said, they're all best role for role. But I think what really truly brings together a team is the Druids and the Rogue. So I think their team is definitely beatable, but them having Ray and the Camel and whatever Rogue, Jarrett, aka Nesper, or Canadians, whoever it may be, they all play almost flawlessly together every game. So them all connecting and being on the same page is kind of what threads their foundation together, I feel like.
And there's a lot of potential, right? Like there's a lot of potential for teams to beat Camel's team, but it just requires them to like sort of have like a want to do it, and then like a need or like to play together, right? Like they sort of have to come together and say like, okay, like we don't want Camel to go like 300-0 anymore. We're gonna make a team and we're gonna play, right? And it might take us like 20 games to get synergy enough to beat them, right? Like we're gonna lose, but it sort of takes that and like somebody to like lead that as a squad, like to come together and be like, okay, let's go beat Camel, and we're gonna queue every day, and then we'll take them out, right? And then eventually we'll do it. They are definitely beatable. It's just you need like a group of people with the want to sort of beat them.
And want to play and want to like they don't care about losing, because a lot of people care about losing in a video game, and it doesn't matter at all.
There are a lot of groups that I join, like randomly, like 21, 22, maybe even 2300 MMR, just random groups, and if these people like queue into Camel, they automatically are like, just go next.
They're defeated.
Right. Like, they see the names.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I feel like a really cool thing that could have like be done is, if you could queue into a team and it wouldn't tell you who the people you were fighting were until after.
Yeah, it doesn't show their names. It only just shows the MMR. Like you could have
MMR,
a lot
of teams will try.
I swear the names is what does it.
Yeah, they see the name and they're like, it's over, and then they.
I swear, because it's even if even if Ray is on a random 1900 team, right, and a 2K team queues into them that plays a lot, they'll be like, oh my god, we're facing Ray, we're fucked, like fuck.
That's actually
over. Yeah.
It's names. Like who cares about a fucking name? Sure, they're great at WoW, but it's not like, oh my god, they're godly, like they're unkillable, they're immortal. Like it's not like they're a person. They're on a keyboard just like you. They're very beatable, right? But I meant to say this before. I didn't mean to discredit their team either. I think they play amazing together. They're a great team altogether. But the reason why nobody can really beat them right now is because them 10, like Shane said, those 10, like they have maybe a few extras that they pull in.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when they queue their Oslega mains, it's the same 10 people, 10 or 11. So, and there isn't a team that's been doing that long enough to match that. Like, sure, I came back in Shadowlands Season 1, and Shane and I have tried to put together a solid team to fight them, but, that's only what? We've gotten together 2 or 3 seasons in with, 5 or 6 different people, right? It's not like we built a full, solid 10-people team that's going to be able to match them, because they're always on the same page with everything without even having to be told type thing.
Yeah,
that
and
only comes with, synergy.
And the roster boss is a big thing too. And I mean, I liked what Felix was saying. Like he joins these games and everybody's defeated. It's like, well, when you have 6 mains. And then you just have a bunch of alts, or you just have a bunch of viewers, you just have a bunch of randoms, and then you queue into a team that is all mains. It's like, okay, like this is unfair. Like it doesn't feel good. And the issue is like there's a lack of players at that skill level that can even challenge that, because any player that gets up to that skill level, any player that gets up to that spot, they just. By the way, I remember this play that we're seeing right here. I remember. I was gonna play. I remember this play, and this was sick. This was just hiding in the water.
The reason I did that. Listen. It wasn't for nothing. Okay, I saw the DH res, and I saw he had eyes. I decided, hey, let me just jump into the water so he can't meta on top of me. He can't get me out, and maybe he just doesn't even realize that I'm here. Right. So I see him running away here. He's coming back. I say, oh shit. It's alright, let me sap him, but he pre-emo auras it, which was a really good play on his part. I actually got outplayed, but it's okay, because I kidney him, I nade him, right? I send my full go into him. Boom, boom, bada bang, bada boom. I can't remember what happens here, actually.
Oh, he nether walks, but you take him. I think you take him.
Nether at 1. but there's not much he could do. I trinket this in cap last second when his Nether falls. I take his body, and bada bing, bada boom. That's a cap for the Schweedleton.
So
another one for the books.
The one thing I was so mad about is when they changed the way eyes work, and it was like 10 times harder to see rogues. And so that, like, when I see you over there hiding in the water, I'm like, I know that DH doesn't see him. 100% DH doesn't find him.
Barn, I'm going to be honest, right? When I came back, I started playing a rogue in Shadowlands Season 1, right? And when I used to play in MOP and WoD Season 1 and 2, and then I stopped playing about a 5-6 year hiatus. But when I came back, I didn't know a thing about DHs, so I still to this day don't know how eyes work, actually. I don't know how it looks on the other side, like how a DH can see. Like, are you able to see through rocks, or are you able to see through walls and buildings?
It makes like a red outline around the.
It used to. Right. Hold on. It used to give a red outline. So basically, as you were looking around, it used to have a red outline that you can see through a building, through rocks, and it'd be easy to find the rogue. Now, if somebody's hiding behind a rock, you can't see them, and it's basically like like the low level, like level 10 like characters that are in stealth, like the level 10 Panthers that are walking through, they're in stealth. You can, if you squint, like you can kind of see them, like a little bit of the movement, and then you move your cursor over it and you can find them. They changed it from where a Demon Hunter can see the red outline and they can find the stealth. Now it looks just like that, like level 10 stealth, to where it's 10 times harder to, like, if I'm on Eye of the Storm and I'm looking across, there's a 50% chance now that I'm not even going to find the rogue and see where he's sitting at unless he moves around. Maybe lower, like, if you know where to look, right, you can find it and you can, like, click your mouse cursor over and find him. And then, obviously, right, you target him on BGE when you're sighting. But it's, like, 10 times harder now.
Okay, I see. So, like I said, I know you explained it to me, but I'm kind of like a visual learner, right? So I could be told something. I could be told, but until I actually do it for myself, I definitely understand what you're saying, but until I see it for myself type thing, I won't, fully. I know what you're saying.
Hey,
I know what you're saying, and I get the gist of it.
Log in, create a DH, click eyes. It'll tell you right there.
I'm going to do that afterwards.
There you go. So, real quick, for the last little bit here, right, I just want to touch on anything, because we're kind of running up on our time here. I want to touch on anything that you guys have, starting with Fearix, starting with you, have that, let's give it one good, one bad that you see about the either the RBG community, RBGs in general, or especially about like the G Fuel tournament. Like, what is the G Fuel tournament doing for the community right now?
Okay, I'll start with my good. So I think for overall, for like the RBG community, I think for the most part, I feel like things are pretty civil where it is. Like there's a lot of like banter, but I feel like most times at the end of the day, like around the 21 to 2400 groups, like those people all kind of mesh and like play together, and there really isn't like, I mean, there's like the feuds and everything, but oftentimes there are a good amount of groups that I can like go and join, and like everyone kind of, for the most part, obviously like there's differences, but there are groups out there that play a lot of the time, and they're active. Obviously I'd like to see a lot more of that, but we can kind of we have to take what we can get in Shadowlands in this season.
For sure,
it's rough, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of banding together at this point to like form these groups and try to make games the best they can. So I think that's cool, and I really think the G Fuel, like these tournaments, even the Method tournament, but since we have 3 G Fuel tournaments so far, it really promotes like people making teams, coming out, trying to perform their best. I would love to see them on like a tournament realm, because the thing, like, and I don't know how hard or not, but it would be. I feel like some teams could get some big hitters to come in and come back from MOP, WoD, Legion, and well-respected players that don't play retail anymore, but would maybe come back if they were able to play in a full geared character.
Yeah, like on a tournament realm.
Yeah,
definitely.
And then that was your good, was your
That's
bad.
My good and my bad.
Okay.
Because we're playing. I feel like we'd have a lot more turnout if tournament run was the thing.
Okay, I get it. All right, Shane.
All right, so my bad. I'll have to go with this tournament. I think this was the tournament where it was only single elimination, right? I believe over 2 years. That was, I think, really unfortunate for us because I remember I think we got Camel really early, so it ended up being that we didn't end up really getting to play a lot of games, and I would have liked to play. Like, I think this tournament had a huge sign up, right? Like, they had more teams than even, I don't even know if like every team got to play.
Yeah, there was like 8 teams, I think.
Right? Like there was, right? So like I would have loved to have played, right? Some of these other teams like Kapala and stuff. And, like, not getting to do that kind of was saddening, really, right? Like, the whole weekend we kind of had to really play, and, like, we didn't really fight anybody else. So, like, I'd say that was probably the only bad from the tournament. But the tournaments in general definitely, like, promote a lot of gameplay and more teams to come try, right? The Method tournament, I think, there was, like, 16 teams that signed up, and they had to end up picking, like, the top 7 or something. Mm-hmm. So it definitely promotes a lot of gameplay with the tournaments, right? And exposure and things like that. I think that's definitely a good and plus for the RPG community as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then, so that was your good and bad, right?
Yeah, that would be the good and the bad, I'd say.
Yep. And then Weed Tea?
Yeah, sure. So I'd like to start up, we'll get the bad out of the way because, we all hate bad here, right? I want to talk about the good things. So first, bad, as a community as a whole, I see a very, very big issue with teams that very well have the potential to compete and get better and play at the highest level possible, but they do this thing called it's actually a sin. It's called dodging, right? It's a very, very horrible thing within the community, and I don't think it's good for anyone involved. Like, sure, I could understand if you're playing with a 2K push group and you don't want to fight Camel and on their 2600 Oslega mains, but you don't need to dodge to do that, right? Just play into them, do your best, leave the game, and queue back up. I know there's 2200, 2300, 2400, even there's a 2500 team that plays now that very well, listen, this team can this is probably the one team that can compete with Camel at this time, that have a solid 10, 11, 12 people, which is Aim's team. They can easily be competing with Camel on the daily, no problem, and if they did, they would get better and they would eventually beat them all the time. But instead, they choose to stay out of queue and wait for the higher team to get a game, and so on and so forth. So I think, first, that as a whole is terrible for the community. It's terrible for anybody trying to get into it, because at the end of the day, rating means nothing. You'll get the rating as you play and get better, right? It's not about your number. The number goes away at the end of the season. It means essentially nothing. Well, it especially means nothing because it's a video game. I think people forget that. But more so, it goes away at the end of the season. You get the same reward as everybody else. You'll get your hero. Just play into the better teams and get better.
Yeah.
That is probably the only bad thing I see within the community now. I mean, sure, there's toxic people and there's idiots, but I mean, that's how life is, right? There's always going to be idiots. There's going to be stupid people that think they know everything, so on and so forth. But otherwise, let's get to the good. I think these G Fuel tournaments are actually insanely good for the community, because not only is it getting people to play in the tournament and getting eyes on RBGs and WoW as a whole, it's also pre-tournament, it's making teams queue up.
Yep.
I know for a fact 4, 5, 6, 2400 teams that were queuing before the tournament just to get practice games in.
Yep.
All the teams were playing each other. There were non-stop games. Everybody was having fun, and it's all competitive. It's all competitive and it's all good fun because we're all practicing for the same thing, right? So I think these tournaments are really good for ladder participation, because without tournaments, nobody has any desire to form up a main team, right? Sure, there's 4 or 5 people that like to form and make a team and queue high games, but for the most part, there really isn't. But when there's a tournament in question, everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to compete. you got to get your practice in. You got to, weed out the good people or weed out the bad people and, lock in your solid squad. So I think more of these G Fuel tournaments would be, amazing for RBGs as a whole.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for more of them to come.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. Lastly, my just like
I want to hear yours.
Just like WeT, I'll get the bad out of the way here. I think the bad thing is the fact that we don't have enough of these tournaments. It's either not enough of them, or it doesn't get the amount of viewership that I think it should, or it doesn't get the amount of community participation. The only thing bad about this is there's just not enough people who come out to it. And I think that's just the more tournaments happen, the more the community gets interested, the more RBG people come play RBG, the better it will get. I think it'll be a snowball effect, because right now it's been a snowball effect as there's less participation, as there's less MMR, right? More people get more rating, more tournaments, more community. I think that'll be a great thing. So my bad is I just don't think there's enough community events out there. And so big, hats off to G Fuel. A giant shout out to G Fuel, who is almost, not single-handedly, but almost single-handedly helping to carry the RBG community tournament scene right now, right? And then my good, honestly, my good is it really gives some players a chance to experience a tournament setting who might not have a tournament setting before. It really does help the community. It helps players, right? Like the first G Fuel tournament I ever competed in, right? I led a team in the Hype Sauce tournament. We placed third, and I remember I still have a video of the biggest nerd screams of my life, right? When we placed third place, and it came down to the last second. Right, we were trying to hold on to the flag, and our flag carrier died, but he died so far away from like a star surge, and nobody was able to return the flag in time. And it was just that moment of like, in tournament, everybody goes all out. Everybody tries to win. Everybody is on point, and so
much hype. I love the competitive nature that comes with it. Because sure, people care about ladder, and they care about winning a game, or whether it be not the best team against the best team, but in a tournament, everybody is trying their dick off.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like oh yeah, we got Camelos like it's like whatever, we lose. Like, it's not like that. It's like, all right, let's go. We're facing Camel second. Let's own. Let's crank. Like, let's go.
Yep.
And I love that hype behind it. I think like with more tournaments, it'll just keep getting better and better, like you said, with the snowball effect. And it's looking good at this rate. With the more tournaments that come, especially the method tournaments, G Fuel as well, the Phoenix Flames.
Yeah.
They're amazing fun. They're fun all-around tournaments. I love promoting it. I love streaming it. Love it, man.
So we'll do a little sign-off here. WeT, if somebody wanted to check you out, to stream the social, where do they check you out at?
Check me out. All right, you want to check me out? You come to Twitch. You type in twitch.tv/WeedTyler. Yep, you heard it right. WEED Tyler, Tyler. And you can follow my Twitter at WeedTylerX. It's an X at the end. X X as an X-ray. So follow me there. I'm live on Twitch almost every day. Rogue gameplay, Druid gameplay, all types of games, viewer games, high games, whatever the case may be. Come through, check out the stream, and I'm happy to look forward to seeing you.
Awesome. Shane, what about you?
I just got twitch.tv/SlipInside with 2 Z's at the end. I play with Weed all the time. Viewer games, high games, Warlock, Druid, Rogue, Priest. I don't even know anymore. Literally every class at this point. It's towards the end of the season. Everybody's got alts. We play it all. Get some CR.
Through.
Play Q, but never Torpid. Q, but everybody,
yes,
honestly.
Sir.
That's pretty much it, bro.
Awesome. Ferrix?
Yeah, so, I mean, you can find me Twitch TV /Ferrix1. Don't have Ferrix. Working on it. So, PHERIX1. I do a lot of viewer games, and I stream a lot of high threes. With the boy Maldiva, of course. We got to give him some credit.
Yes, sir.
So,
of course.
Gaming.
Follow the boys.
Yeah. Follow the boys.
Awesome.
And the barn?
Awesome. And guys, you can check me out at twitch.tv/barndoor, 2 O's and 2 R's. Right? You can, feel free to follow me on Twitter, right? Or check out the YouTube as well. Again, Barndoor, 2 O's and 2 R's. I used to stream a little bit more than I do now. Now I mostly do casting, but I absolutely love it, and I do love to stream when I get a chance. So, from all of us here at Matcherino, the G Fuel Phoenix Flame tournament, we had a great time watching it, had a great time playing in it, and we're looking forward to the next one. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you very much for having us. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
You,
We appreciate it.
Barndoor,
honestly.
2 O's, 2 R's, baby.